My home.
Home. Where I live.
Home is not a place.
It's a
sense.
Home to me is where I
eat, play, where I exercise.
I always end up in the kitchen.
My home.
Where I dream.
My home.
Where party.
Where I sleep, relax.
Home is my creative space.
I need more space.
Music.
It's where I listen to music. I love music.
My neighbors are really loud.
Can you please turn down
the volume.
My home.
Where I live, it's a memory. Where I can be myself. Where I feel safe.
Home is where I find peace.
So, hi and welcome to the live streaming part of Democratic Design Day 2017 at the Democratic Design Center here in Älmhult, in the middle of nowhere in Sweden. Today, we're going to take you through some new collaborations, some new things coming up for the future that we're going to be revealing right now, actually. But before that, I was taking, it's a good thing that we have coming from the same starting point, which is, of course, democratic design. So what is democratic design all about? It's the way that we do design at IKEA. All of the stuff that we do contains 5 pillars. Everything should have a beautiful form to it. It should have a function for everyday life. It should have quality, which is long-lasting, and, of course, aging in a beautiful way. It should be made in a sustainable way, but also maybe lead to new sustainable behavior in our customers' ways of living at home. But last but not least is, of course, making it accessible to the many people. Because that's how you make the change with design. It's not truly democratical if it's not accessible. That's why we work so hard with achieving the low prices at IKEA. And enough said, maybe I should show you some examples of this, just to get it going. You know what? A couple of years ago, there were LED bulbs on the market. They were pretty good. And the LED technology was actually a big change. It helped people to save up to 80% of energy. The only problem was that nobody could afford to change to it. It was about like 15 euros a piece. So we took on a challenge. Could we do something about that, using democratic design to change that to something better? And we came up with a good solution that actually used to cost €1. This year, we're going to sell it for €0.50. And that is the Ryet light bulb. How do we do it? The typical way of solving it is, of course, to go for cheaper stuff inside of it, made it smaller or whatever. But that's not how we work with democratic design. It's to rethink it from the very beginning, from out of the 5 pillars, and come up with an ingenious new idea. And the idea for this one was actually, instead of using cheaper stuff inside of it, we used more expensive stuff inside of it, but less of it. That made it cheaper at the end of the day. So that's a good solution. So if we could turn, everybody's usage of light bulbs into LED light bulbs by making them accessible, that's true democracy, isn't it? Then, one part of doing great design, as we see it at IKEA, is doing great mistakes. That's how you learn. You have to dare to make mistakes. And I would like to share a mistake with you, and it was actually something we call IKEA Air. We did it in the mid-90s. We thought that we came up with the perfect idea. What could be it's the perfect crime if you want to sell something which is actually nothing, isn't it? Air, totally inexpensive to produce. But we made some faulties in the delivery of that. You see this, yeah? That's the perfect sofa up there, isn't it? If we would have had democratic design when we launched this mistake would have happened. Take you through it. Looking good, does it? Form part. If you want to change the industry, maybe you should work with something that resembles a sofa from the very beginning and doesn't look like a spaceship. It's really hard to relate to. So we could have done better on form. When it came to function, that was kind of a faulty. You know, this we invented. It was even a new plastic. Put a lot of efforts and money into this. And the idea would be to, you should inflate this with your hairdryer through this hole here. Really simple, everyday usage, something that everybody has, a hairdryer. What we didn't think of was that a lot of people actually dry their hair with heat on. There's not a lot of people who actually dries their hair with, with no heat in the hairdryer. And this plastic thing here should tighten, but if you have the heat on, then it's ruined. So then it's not tight anymore. And then it looks like this, the sofa, after a while. That's not so smart, was it? If we would have tried it the right way, using democratic design, this wouldn't have happened. And the other part, looking upon the design of it, is also that doing a sofa, which is inflatable, is of course good. It's easy to clean beneath, it's just lifted. But if you put it in your room at home, you don't want it to, walk around the home. If I want to sit in front of the TV, I want to sit in front of the TV, not in front of something else. It was actually moving all over the place. So the good part of it was a bad part at the end of the day. And I could take you through so many of those things. But what I say is that it's a great tool to use to do great design. That's why we work with democratic design. It's a common language that we have all through the company to measure what is good when we talk about design. But maybe that's enough said, and we should have a look upon what other people say about democratic design.
Democratic design is about design that's accessible for everybody. So this means that it has to be affordable, it means that it has to be good quality and sustainable, and it has to function most importantly. It can't be something that's beautiful purely for the sake of being an artifact. It has to be something that functions and works well for the end consumer.
Yeah, simply designed for the people. We can see in the industrialization and making a mass production of design objects available for a broader market was actually the first step of democratic design. It's not only for scientists or politicians, it's actually for designers to help make a better world in terms of how we produce stuff, in terms of what it causes for our environment and so on.
Frank Lloyd Wright was responsible really for coining this phrase, democratic design, and he thought that design should be available to everybody, that it wasn't an elitist thing. And he thought that design should help people be nourished both spiritually and physically in their home, and that there should be this connection to nature, which he thought was this ultimate reflection of democracy in design. And really that's filtered down to modern day designers such as IKEA, who can make design available to lots of different people.
I think that we've always worked with democratic design within this company, but maybe we didn't know it from the beginning.
It's about combining the form and the function, the quality, built-in sustainability to a low price. And that is the challenge of every day to make that happen.
Every product we do needs to fulfill, it has to have a great form, function for everyday life. It should be at a quality which is long-lasting, of course. It should be sustainably done and also lead to a more sustainable behavior. That's something that we're looking for the future when we design. And last but not least, if it should be an IKEA product, it should be available for everybody, so it's low price.
I think it's a super important thing to have this mindset of always creating solutions for real people and not just for a segment, a market or an ideal consumer or something, but for the real people who will be using these products. And if we do that, I think we are much closer to actually making products that are valuable and that people will care for a longer time.
Okay, that's great to hear someone else talk about it. I'm getting tired of my own voice from time to time talking about democratic design. I was sharing 2 stories with you, and I'm really proud to say, actually, all of you guys sitting here, you're going to get a book where we share 12 different stories. 1 mistake and 11 good stories about how to do democratic design. And it's also our own manifesto of what we want to change through working with democratic design. So that's a thing that is going to be handed out after this session. But now I think it's time to think, which all of you are, are you a little bit excited about it? Huh? What's coming up? The guys that we're, hiding in the back. But first, I'm pleased to say, and get up on stage, our dear friend Parisa again.
Yay! Thank you, everyone. Hi. Marcus, are you leaving me? No? Because we're actually matching, so I have to have you next to me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it wasn't planned either. So, are you done with your whole democratic design thing yet?
We will never be done with the whole democratic design thing.
But you told everyone, that's great. But have you done the undemocratic design thing yet?
No, what's that?
Well, I think we should do that. Give me your best example. What's undemocratic design? What's the best example you have?
Undemocratic design has to be something which reaches nobody, but still is a great idea. I remember, some of you might know, like the band Wu-Tang Clan. They had a crazy bad idea once. They did a record where they only did 1 piece of. That was kind of undemocratic.
Yeah, but you bought it, though.
No, it was not me.
It was not me.
It was another guy.
Okay. I want to add the corset. That's my best example. Designed to stop women from eating and breathing. My 2 favorite things. Not very democratic.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. Thank you. Good. So I think people are getting it, what the picture is. So now, dear audience, people watching online, it's time for the releases. So, first up, let's see what happens when the world's busiest company, meaning IKEA, of course, meets the world's busiest man.
IKEA is curious about how to make the first home for young people more personal, yet inexpensive, and will explore creative ways of doing so, together with Virgil Abloh from Off-White. Virgil Abloh likes to mix things up. He's an architecture grad, a fashion designer, a producer and a DJ. All skills are used when he works with his own fashion brand, Off-White. And in just a few years, he has turned into an industry darling. But Virgil Abloh is no pleaser. He enjoys being the provocateur. Not just in the fashion industry, he is also a bit of a rebel when it comes to his collaboration with IKEA.
Hi, Virgil Abloh. Welcome. I'm so glad you made it here. Yes. Not only are you highly successful, but I also read somewhere that you, quote, embody coolness. And I have to agree, meeting you now. Well, we already see something here.
Yeah, what the heck is this? We haven't not even started out working together.
Yeah, I think I'm classically restless. So being here in the facilities, there's so many iconic things that make IKEA, and I couldn't help myself but start. So we've gone to work, doing my interpretation of the classic bag.
Yeah.
We love doers at IKEA, so I think it's a great start.
Yeah.
Yeah, people love tweaking that bag.
Yeah,
not just people at IKEA, but
True.
still.
Yeah.
So, Virgil, I want to know, why did you choose to work with IKEA?
For me, there's only so many moments in a design career to work with the absolute best in class. And, my concept in design resonates with democratic design in principle, that great design can be, given to the masses, and they can be accessible and have those 5 pillars embedded within the process. So it's a complete honor to be able to sort of share ideas and make things.
So I have to ask, why have you chosen Virgil for this?
I think what we found really interesting is actually your creative approach. That you're an architect from the very beginning, but you work in all different fields. And what we see happening right now from out of IKEA is that, why not combine different creative disciplines instead of just focusing on one? Why do you stay true to just one when you could be it all at the same time? So we foresee to get a lot of good ideas from all of your knowledge that you gathered from working in fashion and music and as being an architect from the beginning.
Yeah.
Quite the compliment. That sounds great. I know you're always working across genres and boundaries, but how is that boundless creativity going to fit into this little IKEA package? What do you think?
Well, as you can see, you know, the projects and where my mind is already going with sort of creating furniture and objects for like a young consumer is understanding what makes IKEA IKEA. You know, embedded in the brand are these sort of codes and branding and design and packaging that makes a culture that surrounds the product that eventually ends up within the materials, fabrics, and fabrication. So I'm inspired. You know, there's so many things to grab from, and there's a young generation out there eager to participate and live with design. Together, we're able to make things that fulfill that need.
Yeah, speaking of, let's meet some of the people that you and IKEA are aiming to help out.
Hello, my name is Sverre.
I am Andrea.
My name is Jolien.
My name is Paula. I'm from Brazil.
I'm from Istanbul, Turkey.
Welcome to New York City.
I'm Noah Maxwell.
My name is Mohit, and I'm here to show you my crib.
Alright, round two. This is my room. That's my bed. It's pretty practical because you can stuff things underneath it.
I'm spending a lot of time at home writing and reading. We have so many books.
Most of the books here, they are choked up. So I need a bigger one so that it can contain more books.
My favorite chair, where I spend 10 hours a day.
Microwave oven, important.
This is a very well-designed bed and couch. And the same issue over there, bed and couch.
I have two beds, just in case someone is visiting me and I wanted to make them feel comfortable.
This is my room. This is my bed. This is where I study. This is my closet. And this is my mirror. And this is Freya. Hi, Freya. Hi.
This is where I'm squatting. No furniture. You can see my bed. It's on the floor. What I really mix? The dining table. One day I think I'll achieve it.
Postcards and pictures from my friends and family really makes me feel like I'm at home. For the last part, my favorite part of my room, which is my windowsill, where I can sit down and relax and read by the light of.
And now, the best part of my one-room nirvana is this recreational spot that I've created for me and my friends, where we just sit, talk, and share ideas, man. This is why I bought this one-room nirvana. Ciao.
So we got all of these wonderful people, young people in tiny apartments. So the focus of the project is exploring the first home. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you getting any design ideas just from watching this clip?
100%.
Yeah.
You know, as you mentioned, my formal training in design has been architecture. And what I love about the discipline, it's sort of fulfilling a need. You know, there's a client in that suggestion, in that solution. It's not just a self, sort of fulfilling goal. You're trying to solve the needs, and I think this video outlines what real people need for their living environments.
Looks like they have a lot of needs from looking at it. Huh?
Yeah.
But for many, the first home equals going to college. What was that like for you?
For me, it was the time to sort of like make that departure from my parents choosing my surroundings to sort of expressing oneself with your taste. And, of course I had bought, which I still have, a blue Eames chair that might not go with everything else in my sort of taste now, but I look at that as like a sense of pride to be able to live with a piece of design, and I think, my goal is to sort of give that experience to more people.
Yeah, and everything else was messy, you mean?
It was just like, it was a mood board of random things.
I think it's for
when you
everyone.
talk about messy things, when interior design, you call it eclectic.
Eclectic,
Yeah.
of course. Eclectic dorm room.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then you know what it's like. Now, what are the challenges facing young people moving into their first apartments?
Well, two that stand out to me are sort of like accessibility to design, like where do you go to find the perfect couch or one that is embedded with more than just, function. But then as well, price point. I think there's a general barrier for good design to be able to enter in a young person's first home. So with our project, we're addressing those 2 bullet points and many more.
And I think also one of the things that we talked about briefly is also, you know, the knowledge about how to make a good home, and to raise that bar for knowledge amongst young people. What's important if you want to make a great home at home?
Yeah, you know, B and my friends were sort of, you know, educated by Tumblr or educated by these streaming images of things that we've seen but never seen in person. And now my goal is to sort of make those things real so people can live with design and live with, you know, a great product that we come up with together.
So, okay, what's your dream outcome from this collaboration?
My dream outcome is to sort of spread the message of good design and sustainability. I think there's only a few categories to do that within. You know, I operate within fashion or within music or within design, but this sort of product-based solution, this sort of global accessibility is unique to this project that we're doing here. So it's with great honor that I'm being able to create with IKEA and provide solutions.
What are you hoping for?
I was actually, I love the things that you say, Virgil, but I'm also hoping for us actually to do this together with students.
Yeah.
So we take the learnings firsthand and work together. So maybe we should, you know, do a dorm together. That would be nice.
Yeah, any college around the world, please sign up.
Yeah, great idea.
That's a shout out.
It was.
Open source.
So honored to meet you, Virgil. Best of luck. Thank you very much for coming here today. Virgil Aldo, everybody. So, are you guys ready for the next collaboration? The next collaboration needs probably you putting on your seatbelts because we're going for a ride.
Let's use some contact with a test. 1, 1, let's use some contact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter test. Okay, we checked all 4 systems, and there you go. Modulation, all 4, and team with a go. Roger, you're live.
4, 3, 2, 1. Booster mission, liftoff, Space Shuttle Discovery, taking the space station to full power for full science. This is Mission Control Systems.
Program.
Run Discovery. Discovery's roll maneuver is complete.
So yeah, it's space, the final frontier and mankind's greatest adventure. Since 1961, we've been sending humans into space. And before that, just dogs. Kind of sad, actually. But space, a place so powerful, dramatic, thrilling, mysterious, and also very, very boring. When you think of it, it's actually cold and empty and super scary. And on top of that, your home for months is this tiny spacecraft with just wires everywhere. So, in other words, a dream project for IKEA, of course. So, space design is tricky though, and here's someone who really knows that.
So I'm Constance Adams. I'm a space architect and a National Geographic Emerging Explorer. What do I do as a space architect? My job is to, first of all, understand as best as I can what the essential nature of people is, what it is that people really, really need to live, why it is that we respond the way that we do to certain kinds of light, certain kinds of gravity, certain kinds of environment. All architects do that to a certain extent, but a space architect has to design vehicles and habitats for people to explore the stars beyond the Earth, to Earth orbit, or even suborbital flight, and then to the moon, Mars, and beyond, potentially. And what that means is the things that we assume as architects, like gravity, are no longer true. Or they're true, but they're different, depending upon where you go. So all of a sudden, all the challenges of architecture and design become 10 times as complicated. And everything that we work with, the only thing that's the same is the human being. So what we're doing today is to help the IKEA team understand what it's like for human beings to live away from the Earth, period. The Earth is where we evolved. It's our mothership. And it's extraordinary the extent to which it affects who we are, how we behave, what we need, how we stay well. So the best part of the job, almost all parts of the job are great. Right now, I'm having one of the better days of the job. It's really great to get out here into the field to Mars with a good crew.
Yeah, so space architect, that is one cool job. But Siri Skillgate, I know you also have a pretty cool job. You're connecting IKEA to NASA through the Lund University School of Industrial Design. Can you tell us about this amazing project?
I would love to, and it is truly an exciting work that I get to do here at IKEA. So what we're doing in this project is that we're actually looking beyond the limitations of what it is to be living on Earth. And by working together with students, researchers, and astronauts that are today actually doing what was only years ago something that everyone was saying would be impossible to do. And taking inspiration from these extremes of actually going to space, but also in the future planning on potentially even living there, we can see a lot of connections that is relevant to the work we're doing here at IKEA today.
And how did all this come about, this power trio you got going on?
Yeah, it's actually quite a nice collaboration we have here. So Lund University actually has a really long-running collaboration with NASA, where the design students from the industrial design program gets to go there every year for a collaboration project where they get to work with real astronauts and researchers on real projects. And this year I was one of the lucky students that got to go on this trip. And tagging along also was IKEA.
Yeah, we decided to do that this year.
It was super
awesome.
fun. Yeah, taking part of the students' findings. And this sort of became the starting point then for what we're now doing here at IKEA today. And that is actually trying to look into, so how is it that space engineering and development through this space travel, how is this related back to what we're actually trying to do here at IKEA? And how could this sort of be connected together? So
it's
that
interesting.
is what we're doing.
But I have to say, not a lot of people live in space, Marcus. So why is IKEA interested in this?
Maybe if you look upon it from that perspective, maybe it's the worst business idea ever. I think it's actually 3 people living in space right now. So to cater for them wouldn't make us so much money. It's all about making learnings, of course. We're a curious company, IKEA, and what would be like the most impossible project to take on? It's of course space, and make space something which is homey. So if we work together with space architects, if we work together with the Industrial Design School in Lund and NASA, this will put up crazy hard demands on doing great design. Then from out of that we get solutions that I think will work on Earth better than anything.
Let's hope. Earth is still in space though, right? The planet of Earth.
Absolutely.
So it's a small step for man and a giant leap for IKEA. And the leaping has already started, of course. Right now, in this very moment, a team from IKEA is locked up in a Mars Desert Research Station in Utah. And we got them right here, as you can see. Hi, guys.
Are you there?
Are you there?
Hello.
Hi there. Hello.
Wow.
Hi, you made it. Tell us, what is an
God.
IKEA team doing out there, hanging out in a tin can in the desert?
Are we doing this?
Yes.
So we created a program to teach these guys what it's like to have to actually live on a Mars habitat in a Mars mission. And what kind of challenges there are. You guys know it's small. You've already mentioned that. But one of the other things about designing for a spacecraft, it's a closed-loop system. And that means you only have about 2 or 3 rooms worth of air that you have to recirculate for the entire couple of years of the mission, back and forth. And so that means you're very constrained what kind of materials you can use. In the end, the design that we end up doing in part of these space architecture projects is incredibly sustainable. It's the greenest stuff that you could possibly do, and it teaches us good strategies for how to be more sustainable for life on Earth. What else? What do we have you guys doing? So you guys are on this tight schedule, right? Just like a crew.
Visiting NASA, it was an amazing experience. The workshop there is wonderful, and all the facilities is just so inspiring.
And we didn't pay them to say that. So.
No, exactly.
Yeah, and we're really looking forward to have this experience of having it under this extreme environment that we are in here. So it took us like 72 hours to get here. So, and now we're going to be here locked in this habitat behind us. I think that's going to be a great challenge for us to understand also new things of living situations.
And it's early morning here, and it's already really, really hot. So let's see how we're doing in a couple of hours. Maybe none of us still exist. Vaporized inside.
Now we're going to make sure they hydrate regularly, like a Mars crew would have to. I've also got them on a schedule very much like the schedule that a Mars crew would have. So everybody only gets a few minutes for the shower, for example, at different times. And we're all sharing certain tasks. For example, I think most people think that you eat prepared foods when you're on Mars. But the fact is, for 1 kilo of mass to get to the surface of Mars, it's about $2 million. So you're really not going to bring anything that's in a wrapper that gets thrown away, right? A lot of what we're doing is using the same plants that we're raising to clear our air and do the advanced life support to scrub the carbon dioxide out. Those are going to be food plants. And so what we're doing here, we just brought raw foods that are the same kinds of foods that the plants we would be growing on Mars would have. And we're going to have to make our own meals, just like Mars astronauts would have to. Let's see, what other things are we doing? We've got like very tight bunk spaces, and we've got a pretty busy schedule that includes fixing the habitat and a lot of lessons about materials, about different types of spacecraft, about human habitability and the way people operate, the way the sense of up and down affects us and our functioning, about vision and acoustics and temperature, which we're studying the temperature thing pretty in depth already right now. Yeah, but it's just early morning yet. Just wait. It's going to be more fun to film these guys when they're really breaking in a schwitz.
Okay, wow. So Marcus, what is a dream outcome from this collaboration for you?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's a good thing that they sweat. That's always good when I see my designers sweat. But my dream outcome would be to solve, the biggest problem on Earth. I guess it's the same problem actually in space, and that is the thing about storage. How could you make storage in a completely new way? Rethinking that. So please, gather the guys to do some smart thinking there while you're there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. Enjoy your space adventure. And thank you, Siri, of course. Thank you. Great.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, from space back to sweet old Älmhult in Sweden. And do you guys feel that? If you take a deep breath, yeah, it's the smell of Swedish fika, of course. What do you think? We got hundreds of cinnamon rolls coming in here, and it's a sweet, sweet smell. The best smell any Swede knows. You're getting all happy already. Great. Apparently, the smell of fika even made Ingmar Bergman, famous movie director, happy for like 10 seconds. But still, he got happy. So yeah, smell is a powerful thing. A smell just hits you, and it transports you right away. So why is that?
We perceive the odor through our noses, of course, because in each breath that we are taking, a certain number of molecules also enter the nasal cavity. Up here we have 2 olfactory nerves, our smell nerves. And these nerves has a direct route to the oldest parts in our brains, the limbic system. One can say that it handles our survival functions. For each time that we perceive an odor, we will also have a memory formation, and we will also experience an emotion. By exposing ourselves to odors that we like, we can also promote our subjective well-being. You can train it actually, so by sniffing and smelling each day, say 10 to 15 minutes on a set of different odors, you can actually train your sense. So in 40 days, you will have the same capacity as a wine expert. So when you train your sense of smell, you can also see that your brain activation pattern will increase.
Yes, sorry. So this product is about scents. What ideas are you chasing with this collaboration?
You know what? Doing research about what's important for people in their homes, what makes a home. The scent of a home is one of the most important parts, actually, when we ask people. And it's kind of an invisible design. It's actually something that you can't see. So we think that's a great endeavor to go into.
Okay, I understand. So now an obvious question, does IKEA have a scent? Let's find out. Can't answer it.
What does IKEA smell like?
Oh wow.
Like furniture. Like fresh new home.
It smells very good. It smells like flowers.
Very refreshing.
I don't know. I have never thought of it, but very clean.
Is there a smell in IKEA?
Sometimes it smells like fresh
cut wood.
It smells like the nature is right in front of you.
IKEA smells like köttbullar.
Swedish meatballs.
Because I love the meatballs at IKEA, they're great.
Every time when I go there and I go to the wood section, I really like that smell. It reminds me of childhood in a way.
Oh, that's so nice. I have to agree on köttbullar. That's IKEA for me.
Is it?
Yeah, but what's the scent of IKEA according to you?
For me, it's like freshly cut wood.
Yeah, like Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
that's
a little bit
better
like
reference.
that. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So how important can scent be for IKEA?
I think since it's important to people, apparently, I think it's important to IKEA. And I would like to see us doing stuff which is a little bit outside of the normal of doing scented candles. Could we reinvent how you scent your home?
Absolutely. So you want to marry the world of design to the world of scent. For that you need a partner, so let's meet him.
Hi everybody, I'm Ben Gorham, the founder of Byredo. So sorry I couldn't be there with you in Älmhult. I'm currently traveling, but look forward to showing you our amazing project around invisible design. Be well.
IKEA is curious about how scents can be a natural part of home furnishing and will explore new ways of adding scents in the home together with Ben Gorham from Byredo.
I started to perceive things through smell. And that grew into a bit of an obsession.
From professional basketball player to passionate perfumer, Ben Gorham spent his upbringing between Stockholm, New York and Toronto. Fresh out of Stockholm Art School, he had a life-changing experience. When he met perfumer Pierre Wolf and learned how memories are tied to scent. A fascination turned into an obsession, and Byredo was born. Today, Ben's memory-driven perfumes, candles and beauty products are sold in 50 markets around the world.
The first scent I created was the memory of my father. I felt that most people could relate to the idea and the connection of smell and a father figure. And it was a throwback. 25 years to me running down into the kitchen, seeing my father sit at the table. It became a bit of a spark for me, understanding that if I could capture that experience, I could make people feel and also remember. I think smells are around us. It's a part of our life. I think the project with IKEA is about highlighting that there needs to be a part of how people live and how people experience the home. We need to inspire people to think about smell and to share their idea about smell. Because what I've found over the last few years is that everybody has a clear connection to smell. And I think the project with IKEA is very much about getting people to communicate and share ideas about smell. Having a perspective on scent that's quite unique, even in a global sense, is something we'd like to lend to this project with IKEA. It is less about us creating something and implementing it through IKEA, and more about the word collaboration in its true sense. Our teams working together with IKEA teams to challenge and innovate the way that scent has been perceived. And I think for us, collaboration is as much about sharing as it is about learning. And I think as we have a lot to learn from the teams at IKEA, I hope that our ideas will inspire and teach them something about a new approach to smell.
Incredible guy, Ben Gorham, you guys. So after seeing that, I kind of get it, but I have to ask, why have you chosen Ben Gorham and Byredo for this?
I think that, first of all, as you say, Ben Gorham is like an overall great guy, and what he's done with Byredo is truly amazing in such a short time. And I think also his view upon sense and the importance of sense and connecting sense to actually memories is something that we were deeply inspired by, because it's so close to how people talk about homes and sense in their homes. It's all about memories. So could we work with that?
So what products can you see coming out of this?
Hopefully something far newer than just another scented candles. So I don't really know what it is, but something which is bigger.
Exciting stuff. Great hint. Okay, and for those of you just joining online, we're here at IKEA in Älmhult, Sweden at the Democratic Design Days, and this is what happened earlier today. It's of course James Jarvis in the audience. Welcome up here, and please tell us about the art event project.
It's a peace sign, but if you turn it around, it's a slightly rude gesture. It's quite an old-fashioned gesture in England. It's not as rude as the American middle finger, but it's a bit rude. I imagine people will use it as paperweights. They might buy two and have one on either side of their mantelpiece. You know, I like the idea that depending on the mood, you can have it being positive or negative. And I think that's, you know, the idea for me was that it was a kind of yin-yang, you know, there was a slightly spiritual quality to it, that obviously it represents the duality of humanity.
With kids spending so much money and time investing not only into, you know, wearing and buying the shoes, but also storing them and collecting them, I wanted to create a couple different solutions that would kind of beautify your home environment. You know, when you have people come over to your house, or if it's a young kid trying to impress a girl, or whatever way it might go, you know, those are kind of almost looked at as like art pieces that you have in your house. You know, the collectability around fashion now is like a whole culture in itself.
Being who you are, that's my whole mantra, that's been my whole life, that's my career, that's everything, because I always stuck to my gun. So I really took what I do and turn it into furniture. So really, my glass hat that I made for the collection, you could do whatever you want with it. You could put apples and oranges, or you could use it as a champagne cooler, or whatever that you want it to be, or your imagination wants you to take my collection. So I really wanted to inspire people to maybe get something that they don't usually get, to brighten up their day, or just having fun with it.
Well, I'm quite excited to be here. I like the idea of democratic design because it sort of echoes what I'm trying to do at home. Right now, I think what we need in my part of the world is furniture that is very easy to make. What I'm trying to achieve with this house is to have something that is a lot more flexible than what we have today, which is something that you can put together and sort of transport somewhere else, a little bit like a tent.
We had a series of discussions about how people's lives are fragmented and how they change houses, how their spaces are more and more constrained, and then thought a lot about, you know, beds as the only really essential piece of furniture that people have to have. Dialectic is really the simplest but most robust of bed frames. It's a platform that is adaptable to various stages of your life. It's the piece that, even if you were to get rid of everything else, you'd still kind of need.
If you make a perfect symmetrical person, it looks ugly. Everything became perfect, and at a certain moment, craft and imperfection becomes something to desire. Hourglasses are all not straight, you know, so they can't use this part of the machine because everything would be B choice. And the whole fun of this story, that you make something which is deliberately not like the standard, and if somebody takes this glass, puts it in his hand and looks at it and thinks, it's not round. And I think it's so funny. Make millions of mistakes. That it's really, really good.
There are as many ways to party as there are people on this planet. But one thing we can all completely agree on is that a good party needs music. So now, IKEA's next collaborators on stage, welcome Teenage Engineers!
IKEA is curious about how to throw a great party in any home or any place at any time, and will, in an upcoming collection, explore how to engineer new solutions for having fun together with Jesper Kautoft from Teenage Engineering. Jesper Kautoft loves to build things and make music. He went from ad guy and creative director to consumer electronics. 10 years ago, he founded Teenage Engineering with 3 old friends. Their mission is simple: to build the things they think are missing in the world. Things like synthesizers, speakers, cameras, and a lot more.
Great. Oh my God, nice to have you here, Jesper.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Hey, hey.
Jesper is, of course, from Teenage Engineering. I misspoke earlier.
Yeah.
Great performance, thank you. So what's the recipe for a good party, according to you?
I think you need at least, like 3 things. You need a group of people.
Like us, yeah?
You need
preferably friends.
Preferably friends, but it could be strangers
yeah.
as well. Something strong to drink.
We got that, maybe.
Or smoke. And music.
Marcus strongly condones no smoking. So, what can you tell us about this collaboration then?
I don't want to tell that much because we're still working on it, and it will be out 2019.
Yeah.
But what I can tell is that I think it's 22 objects / products already, and we've been working on it for over a year. And we really want to over-deliver.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
That we like.
Yeah, but I'm hoping for like white overalls or something. Can
Maybe
you tell
that
us
will
something?
be included in the collection as well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I need one.
That's a future big seller, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But some of the best parties are actually spontaneous, I'd say. So how do you plan on helping with that here?
First of all, I think that IKEA is already a great party place. We're almost always open, and we have most of the things needed for a party. Now we're taking that to the next level with this collection, where we're going to go into things that we usually don't have within the IKEA range to throw that party, and maybe to come closer to music too.
Yeah.
So yes, but I know your setup at Teenage Engineering is quite different. So why did you put musicians, engineers, and designers in the same company?
I would say, like, first of all, we didn't want to start a company. It was like, like a big experiment. It just happened.
Like IKEA.
Yeah, it just happened. So, but what happened was that we got software engineers, hardware engineers, mechanical engineers, designers, and all that kind of people. And we figured out that it was so fun, first of all, to work with our hands and build stuff. But instead of working, like the ordinary way, where it's like, like a linear way, where you come with an idea and then, it develops, move from discipline to discipline. I would say that all the disciplines work in parallel. And that is really interesting. And I think the product that comes out of that shows that also that it's like a little bit different process.
And now you'll be working with Marcus and IKEA. Well, how is that going to be different for you?
I mean, the big difference is that, as I mentioned before, that we want to over-deliver, but the low price is really challenging. But I think, but I also think that's, like the interesting part of it, that we can't use ways of working that we are used to. We have to rethink a little bit, think a little bit like IKEA, but still, add all this, fun stuff into the products.
Well, obviously, fun stuff in the project. Great. And I'm sorry, but I have to ask, I think people are wondering in here and online, what's this teenage thing about? I mean, you guys are all around 40. Am I the only one thinking
Gray
this?
hair and everything.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the teenage thing is not on the outside,
No.
it's like here. But also, I would say, back to this kind of, when you are young and you do something, you're very naive, and you don't see, all the obstacles and stuff that like, you don't see the problems. And we like to work like that and like, what do you say, attack a project or a problem, even if we're not skilled enough, we just start to build. And I think, like that's...
Learn along the way.
That's probably, like this kind of like teenage engineering attitude.
Okay, it's an attitude.
Yeah.
Great. Marcus, I know you have some more party news for us.
Yeah, I was actually taking on this endeavor into parties and making that happen. Usually when we do product development, we start off with doing home visits. But it's hard to do home visits on parties because sometimes you're not even invited. But at least some of us. But what we are doing right now is actually something great. Together with IKEA in Denmark and IKEA Foods, we're going to go to the Haven Festival in Copenhagen in August and set up an IKEA music and food lab to meet people and see what's actually needed and do the product development there on site with real people. So it's a home visit, but for parties. So to tell that story, we have a dear friend to us, which is actually Aaron from the National, who's the founder of the Haven Festival.
Hello, Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron Dessner from the National. I'm sorry I'm not there with you today in person at the Democratic Design Days, but I wanted to tell you about Haven, which is a new festival in Copenhagen this August 11th and 12th. It's a festival that merges experiments in music, art, food, and beer. It includes a wonderful community of artists and chefs and other collaborators, and we're very excited to welcome IKEA into that fold. We'll be collaborating to develop an installation in a laboratory together that will explore some of the very forward thinking in the food program at IKEA, and also some of what's been being worked on with teenage engineering and creating a music laboratory that can offer an interactive element with the audience and some other elements that we're very excited about. So again, it's Haven. It's August 11th and 12th in Copenhagen, and welcome to IKEA, and we're very excited about the collaboration. Thank you.
So, thank you, Teenage Engineering. And this was actually all for the news flashes this time. I hope you like it. We love it, and this is the new things that we're working on right now, amongst the other 1,990 other stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, of course. So thanks everyone for joining. To the people watching online, bye-bye. And people here, let's party. We're gonna actually go party now. So thank you, bye. Thank you.